Hello, friends. Managing a posterior polar cataract is a challenging task. A 50-year-old male presented with classical posterior polar cataract. Other eye was operated 2 years ago. On examination, there was no PC and there was vitreous strand. This made me to take more precautions. And if you can see, there is a spindle shape posterior capsular dehiscence along the classical PPC in this case. Capsular axis was done of adequate size, central and circular. This is important because if you want to do an optic capture during IOL implantation, this becomes handy. Hydro dissection is avoided as advised. Gentle hydro delineation is done using a minimal amount of fluid. No nuclear rotation is done in these cases. Phacoemulsification is done with low parameters. The bottle height reduced from 95 to 60 centimeter, flow rate from 35 to 20, phaco from 50 to 40, and vacuum from 500 to 350. Direct chop technique is used and care is taken not to rotate the nuclear fragments. Nuclear fragments are carefully taken out of the capsular bag and emulsified at the level of iris. Same thing is done with the other half of the nucleus. Without rotation, it is taken out and emulsified at the iris level. Once nuclear emulsification is done, epinucleus and cortex removal is done without removing the phaco handpiece outside the anterior chamber, continued with low parameters in epinuclear mode. I could notice a clear-cut posterior capsular tear there, rent, when I removed half of the epinucleus. So I continued as long as I could and I decided to stop out there. Then injected a dispersive OVD to plug that posterior capsular tear. Now I have two options: continue with irrigation aspiration with low flow rate or do a dry aspiration. Because the capsular rent was bigger and I could not see the margins of the posterior capsular tear, I opted for a dry aspiration. I just modified a bit here. Instead of completely aspirating, I dislodged the epinucleus and cortex from the capsular fornix to the anterior chamber. Then I use viscoelastic to express it out. So I injected a viscoelastic and decompressed the anterior chamber. It serves two purposes. One, it removes the cortex and epinuclear material. At the same time, it reinforces the posterior capsular rent by repeated viscoelastic and prevents the rupture of anterior hyaloid face and vitreous entering into anterior chamber. Same thing is carefully repeated till the cortex and epinuclear material is completely taken out. Once everything is done, now IOL implantation. I had two options: uh, a single piece IOL in the bag or a three-piece IOL in the sulcus. Again, the rent was larger and I could not see the margins of the posterior capsular tear on either side. So I did not know what is there. So I decided to put a three-piece intraocular lens in the sulcus. I negotiated the IOL in the ciliary sulcus. Then I did a optic capture in this case. Optic capture, the advantage here is you don't have to adjust the IOL power as the optic will be in the bag and lens is well stabilized in the ciliary sulcus. Once the optic capture is done, then I noticed the loops are along the capsular tear, which is not very good. So I decided to rotate the IOL 90-degree away from the posterior capsular tear and then I reconfirm the optic capture and stability of IOL is tested. Post-operatively, patient is doing well. Thank you for watching this and the suggestions or comments are most welcome. Thank you.